Alright, welcome back guys, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm Vision here with Blind Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm going to be breaking down the Walking Dead Season 9 teaser trailer. Now if The Walking Dead is something you're interested in, something you want to know my thoughts on, see my reviews, see my ultimate trailer breakdown when the trailer drops tomorrow, don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the bell icon. That way you don't miss any future videos on The Walking Dead moving forward. Now let's begin. We start this trailer off with Maggie and Daryl walking through the woods. And first thing first, you can tell right away is something's up with Maggie. She looks sad or angry or annoyed about something. And I'm thinking Daryl might have done something, made a move, and did something stupid and put them in danger or got someone hurt. And Maggie and him are out there scavenging, and she's just kind of reminding him, like, come on, you gotta get your stuff together. You can't be doing what you're doing. And I feel like that's just the main thing I'm picking up from this scene right away. Is it's just like Maggie coming to Daryl just to, like, as a friend, like, come on, just don't do what you're doing. You gotta get yourself in order and not do the things you've been doing. Next, we got Rick stepping out of a tent and kind of like surveying the area, looking out at his group. And we get a quick glimpse at everybody camping out in the middle of some area. I think they're camping. This doesn't really look like a settlement. It doesn't look like the hilltop. We know they don't use like tents or whatever in Alexandria or the sanctuary unless something maybe happened. I don't think so. At first, I thought it was Oceanside. The wooded area made it look in the trailer made it look like they're in Oceanside. However, I think they're just going out there kind of like surveying like area beyond places they haven't explored recently, or like expanding their territory. For those of you who have read the comics, you know they set up like patrols and set up like roads and places like that for the survivors to travel. I'm thinking they're gonna probably be doing something similar to that, as in like expanding their area and kind of going out and doing these things where they like set up these places where that's safe to go and travel for our survivors. And you can't really see too many of the survivors who are camping out. The only ones I could really pick out were Ezekiel and Carol. Other than that, I didn't see too much any other people in there. If you saw anybody else there, let me know in the comment section down below. But I know I saw Ezekiel and Carol there. Other than that, I didn't see anybody else. I know there's a whole bunch of other people camped out there. As we move forward in the trailer, we see that there's a bunch of people actually in this location. So there might have been people in this photo that I might have just missed. If you see anybody or recognize anybody, let me know in the comment section down below. Next, we got Maggie and Michonne having a conversation here, and Michonne's pretty much telling Maggie, you know, we need to set up some rules and laws and stuff like that. And I really like that. I really like how they are initiating this idea that they need to add in some rules and laws. That way, when people do something, they get punished, as Michonne is saying in the trailer. And it makes sense. I feel like in the comic, like they just kind of breezed over that with just putting Negan in jail as an example, and I felt like they were doing the same thing at the end of season 8, but them doing this as well, I feel like really establishes the idea of like having rules and laws and having our characters set up like a more sustained society where there's rules and laws, and people have to, you know, if you're getting in trouble or do something, there's rules, and and if you go against the communities, there's gonna be consequences. So I really like how they're establishing this idea and putting this idea into place where that if you break a rule or go against one of the communities, there will be consequences. And then we see Rosita, and I think it's a bunch of Oceanside people collecting some guns. I'm interested to see what's going on, how Oceanside is going to play into the storyline this season. We never see them that much in the comics. We saw them recently, I think in 181, and we saw like a glimpse of them like a few issues back on like 130 something, I forget. But I'm interested to see how they are added into the story and played out in this season. Will they be a major player or will they not be? Just something I'm curious to see what goes on there, because I feel like they could end up being a major player, or they could be sidelined and not do much for the season. But I feel like they should be like major players moving forward in season 9. But leave your thoughts and opinions on Oceanside in the comment section down below. Next, we get this little glimpse at this little sign in the middle of the woods area, and you got the HQ, Sanctuary, Alexandria, Oceanside, and Toledo on the sign. I find it interesting that there's no kingdom on the sign. Now, I know people are going to say, what about the hilltop? I think that HQ might be the hilltop. If you remember back to the beginning of season 8, Rick said he's going to be following Maggie's lead after the all-out war. So maybe after the end of the war, they set up like the hilltop as their HQ type of area and as their headquarters where all the communities meet and hold meetings and stuff like that. I think that'd be interesting and make that less of a throwaway line from season 8 and make it more important. Because I feel like that was a line that I feel like it should be important and not be just some throwaway line. So I feel like HQ stands for Hilltop. Maybe Toledo is. I think Toledo might be the connection to the helicopter. Much as I hate the idea of the helicopter, maybe the helicopter people are stationed in Toledo, and maybe they land in a certain area where they can drop off supplies or whatever, something like that. I don't know. And maybe eventually there'll be a link up to Commonwealth later on down the line. And they'll that way, because remember, Toledo's in Ohio, so maybe that way down the line feels a lot more organic when Commonwealth is introduced instead of Eugene randomly finding the radio. But leave your thoughts and opinions. I'm curious as to why the kingdom's not on this. Maybe it's just not in the general area, or maybe it's just close by, so they just don't put it there. But that doesn't make any sense either, so it's just kind of confusing. I don't totally understand it. And then to put it in some random area, it also makes it a little weird, because then, like, say, like, later on down the line, if, like, the Whispers find it, like, they find it and they can figure out which way to go to whatever community. HQ, they could go right to Hilltop when they do and just destroy it. It's like, I feel it's a good idea, but it's also somewhat stupid, because it just alerts your enemies on to where to go when you want to go attack or whatever. It just feels stupid, and but I still like the idea. As much as I feel like it's stupid and there's holes in the idea, I like the idea. I'm just curious as to why the kingdom's not added on, like I said previously. But leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Next, we got Rick walking past Savior Laura and this other character. I don't know if she's a new character, she's already been introduced. If you know who she is, let me know in the comment section down below, because I can't tell. But we see that at least the Saviors are somewhat working with the other communities. We don't know if they're like willingly working or begrudgingly working with them. So I'm interested to see what goes on there, because I feel like there's a good opportunity, because remember in the comics we saw how there were like issues and conflict with leadership and whatnot within the communities, like if you remember, like with Gregory and Maggie. And I feel like that if Hilltop is HQ, I'm going back to the Hilltop for a minute with the HQ sign. I feel like if it is the HQ, Gregory might have even more motivation to go and try to kill Maggie, because think about it, if they have Hilltop as HQ, as like their head of command center or whatever, Gregory might see that as in, I used to be a leader. If I take out Maggie, I could become like the leader of this big system. I could be big man on campus again or something like that. I think that would add more fuel to the fire as to why, and give him more purpose to kill or try to kill Maggie in this season, depending on what goes on with Warren Cohan. I think that'd be an interesting thing to play out. But going back to the Saviors for a minute, I think that I'm interested in what goes on. Like I said, with the whole Gregory and Maggie issue, there could be more stuff going on where the Saviors aren't totally agreeing with Rick and them, and maybe Dwight comes back in and he's the one that kind of forms a somewhat unsteady alliance with between the Saviors and the rest of the communities. I think that'd be interesting to see play out, and how that would fit into the overall storyline. I think that'd be an interesting way to bring Dwight back in and allow it to be organic, where Dwight just doesn't suddenly just reappear out of nowhere. I think that'd be an interesting way to reintroduce Dwight. But leave your thoughts and opinions. Is that a good way to reintroduce Dwight, or do you think they should do it in a different way? Next, we see that Jerry has formed a relationship with this Nabila character that we've seen for the past couple of seasons. I really like Nabila. I really like her as a character. I think she's a good character. However, I feel like this could be bad news for Jerry, for any Jerry fans out there. I know he has a big fan base. I feel like if you watch the show, as soon as someone finds love or is in a relationship and they're not like a big character, that automatically means they're dying. So I would definitely watch out for Jerry this season if you're a Jerry fan. I think there's a good possibility he dies this season. I have been advocating that he should be one of the heads that Alpha kills and puts to make up her border wall. I think that'd be awesome, especially think about it. You need a heartbreaking loss, and since we're losing Maggie and Rick, I don't think they're gonna kill another community leader in Ezekiel. So I think they might replace Ezekiel with Jerry and make that our emotional big loss for all the Jerry fans out there too. I think that'd be a huge loss, especially to our communities, because I feel like even our characters on the show are love Jerry. You know, they appreciate him and whatnot. I think Jerry would be a crushing loss, and I feel like since he's got a love interest, he definitely could be one that could die this season. But leave your thoughts and opinions. Do you think he's gonna die? And if you do, how do you think he's gonna die this season? Leave those opinions in the comment section down below. Now, the last big pieces of information we get from the trailer is we see Daryl get into this confrontation with this new character played by Zach McGowan. From what I've heard, his name is Jed. He's going to be a new savior from rumors I've heard. Now, I was holding out hope he'd be Beta, and I was still kind of holding out hope that maybe after this confrontation he runs away, becomes Beta, and then wears the mask, and the reason he doesn't want his mask taken off is to hide his identity. Similar to the Beta from the comics, only not a basketball player, just this storyline. I don't know how I feel about that. It feels a little weak now I say it, but I don't know. How do you feel about that? Leave your thoughts, opinions in the comment section down below. But moving on, you see the two of them getting this confrontation, and I'm interested to see what goes on there, because like I said, in the comics you had Rick and Maggie having confrontations over the hilltop in Alexandria. Maybe with Daryl in the show now, with his anger towards the Saviors, that'll lead to conflicts with the Saviors as well, and all that. I'm interested to see what goes on, and maybe like we saw earlier on in the trailer with Michonne talk about how we need law and order. Maybe this confrontation leads to Daryl having that conversation with Maggie in the earlier parts of the trailer. She's telling him, got to get your act together. This is a new world. We got to, have laws and have law and order. And then maybe this leads to him getting locked up. And earlier on in the trailer, you hear Negan talk about how they built this all out of luck. So maybe he ends up getting thrown in a cell next to Negan, and Negan's like taunting Daryl or just trying to like give him a talking to or something like that. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what goes on there. But I think there's definitely a lot of promise. This definitely's got me hyped for this trailer to be dropped tomorrow. I'm definitely going to be breaking down the Season 9 trailer when it comes out. I'm going to have a few videos depending on what information is in the trailer. I don't know. Depending on what goes into the trailer, I might break it down into a couple of videos depending on how long it takes me to break it down. Maybe I'll break it down into most important things to the least important or relevant. Or maybe I'll just break it down in like what comes first, then what comes last in the trailer. Depending on what goes on with the trailer tomorrow, I'll definitely have those videos coming out soon, maybe in the next couple of days or tomorrow, depending on how my schedule is tomorrow. But I definitely want to have those videos coming out as soon as possible. So if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, definitely continue watching my videos, because you want to know my trailer breakdown in the coming days. So definitely subscribe if you're interested in that information coming up soon. Alright guys, so that's my teaser trailer breakdown for The Walking Dead Season 9. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and share. And don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the bell icon. That way you don't miss any future videos on The Walking Dead moving forward. This has been Vision here with Blind Entertainment, and I will see you next time.